Chapter 2241. The group of guards quickly took out their weapons and attacked Yin Chutian. Miss Chutian, be careful. Wang Haoyan's expression changed as he hurriedly said. However, the next scene scared everyone to the point that their hearts stopped beating. The girl waved her long sleeves, and a light breeze spread from her body. The group of guards couldn't even get within 10 meters of her, let alone hurt her. As soon as they took 2 steps forward, they were separated by the girl's light breeze. If they tried to force their way forward, they would end up bleeding from their orifices. Ouyang Sun's expression darkened. When will the elders come out of seclusion? When did this last become so powerful? Other than the few elders of the royal family, no one else would be a match for her. No matter how many guards came forward, even the general rushed forward, they couldn't even touch the corner of her clothes. Your Majesty, the elders will come out of seclusion in a month, and they said that no matter what happens within a month, they can't be disturbed. The eunuch wiped the sweat off his forehead and said with a trembling voice, Another month? Ouyang Sun's face darkened. This girl must have obtained some opportunities outside, which made her strength increase a lot. Now, let's stabilize her. When the elders come out of their closed-door training, let several elders kill her. After thinking for a while, Ouyang Sun clenched his fists tightly and shouted, All of you stop. As soon as he finished speaking, the people who besieged Yin Chutian dispersed and respectfully waited for Ouyang Sun's orders. Looking at the countless dead guards on the ground, the corner of Ouyang Sun's mouth twitched. He had spent a lot of effort to train these guards, but in the end, more than half of them were dead today. He took a deep breath and tried to make his tone as gentle as possible. Xianxia, I was only joking with you just now. Since you're back, I'll clean up the palace that your mother used to stay in for you to live in. I said, I forgot my previous name. My surname is Yin now, and I'm called Yin Chutian. Ouyang Sun's expression changed. I'm your biological father after all. I've forgiven you for your mistakes, but you actually want to change your name? I only have one father, Yin Xiao. She curled her lips and sneered. Yin Xiao? Ouyang Sun frowned. He felt that this name was very familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before, but he couldn't remember. Yin Chutian. Ouyang, you took a deep breath. Since father is willing to forgive you, what else can I say? You were so young, yet you were so vicious that you wanted to poison me. Now that you're older, your heart is even more vicious. You actually killed these guards. However, no one saw how Yin Chutian killed them. They only knew that when they came back to their senses, the group of guards had already collapsed. Of course, Ouyang Yu's words were also directed at Wang Haoyan to tell her what kind of person Yin Chutian was. She dared to say that Wang Haoyan was blind? Those who fell for a vicious woman like Yin Chutian were the ones who were truly blind. Yin Chutian smiled contemptuously and slowly walked toward Ouyang Yu. He slightly raised his chin and said condescendingly, Ouyang Yu, my second sister, you seem to have forgotten the truth behind the poisoning back then. Did I really poison you, or are you trying to take my credit and frame me? Yun's voice sheeted of lowering of so all, and Yin, and... Chapter 2242. Ouyang Sun's expression was very ugly. You mean you or framed you? She even took your credit? You were only 5 years old back then. What could you know with your ability back then? You was the one who thought of the cure, but you're so vicious that you framed her. I'm too lazy to talk to you guys. Yin Chutian's intelligent eyes were smiling. But you want me to live in the palace where my mother used to live. Does this mean that you want me to stay in the cold palace? Ouyang Sun was stunned. How could he forget that this girl and her mother had been living in the cold palace? Then what do you want? I think the Green Mist Palace where Ouyang Yu lives is very good. How about you give it to me? Do you know what you're talking about? Ouyang Sun gritted his teeth. That's your second sister's palace. You don't deserve it. Swoosh. As soon as Ouyang Sun's voice fell, a cold long sword was placed on his neck. The girl was so fast that Ouyang Sun didn't even have a chance to react. His eyes were a little shocked. It was the first time he realized that his daughter had changed so much. His strength. Perhaps only those few elders could restrain her. Give it to me, or you'll die. Her eyes were smiling, but her tone was extremely cold, causing Ouyang Sun's body to tremble. Let go of father. I'll give you the green mist palace. Ouyang face was a little pale. She clenched her fists tightly, her nails digging deep in her palms, but she didn't notice it. You didn't give it to me. I took it with my own ability. Yin Shutian retracted his sword and smiled contemptuously. She took the palace with her own ability. How could she say that she gave it to him? I'm hungry. Yin Shutian stretched. Remember to prepare the imperial meal for me. Ouyang, if you want to poison me, you could try. My parents have been giving me medicinal baths since I was young. I'm already immune to all poisons. Ouyang thoughts were exposed by Yin Shutian. She blushed and felt ashamed. After saying this, Yin Shutian walked out of the palace. Miss Shutian, wait for me. Wang Haoyan took off his wedding clothes and wanted to chase after her. Ouyang was anxious. She grabbed Wang Haoyan's sleeve and asked, What do you want? I don't want to do anything. I'm not getting married. He didn't want to get married in the first place, but his father had decided on the marriage, and the emperor had decreed it, so he couldn't refuse. More importantly, he didn't have anyone he liked, so it didn't matter who he married. But from the moment Yin Shutian entered the Hall of Supreme Harmony, he knew what love at first sight was. Yes, he fell in love with Yin Shutian at first sight. Naturally, he did not want to marry Ouyang. Wang Haoyan's strength was so great that he directly pushed away Ouyang's hand and ran out. Ouyang's son was still in shock from what had just happened. He only came back to his senses after Wang Haoyan left at this moment, under the gazes of the civil and military officials. Ouyang was so ashamed that she wanted to find a hole to hide in. Her hatred for Yin Shutian grew. Your Majesty, I have failed in disciplining my son. I will go and get him now. The Prime Minister was the first to come back to his senses and said apologetically. Ouyang's son sighed and waved his hand, ordering the Prime Minister to leave in the Imperial Garden. The young girl had a smile on her face. Her peach blossom-like face was rosy. Perhaps she was in a good mood, but her eyes were curved into crescent moons. Miss Shutian. Wang Haoyan hurriedly chased after him and shouted. Yin Shutian stopped and looked at Wang Haoyan strangely. What do you want from me? Chapter 22:43. Wang Haoyan blushed. Well, Miss Shutian, you haven't been back to Emperor City for 10 years. I guess you're not very familiar with this place. I can show you around. Yin Shutian was startled. He pursed his thin lips and said, When I was in the palace, I never stepped out of the palace. The only time I did was when someone tied me to a fire pillar on the street, intending to burn me. She didn't have any good memories in the 4 years she was in Emperor City. Therefore, there was nothing to miss about this place. Wang Haoyan scratched his head. Actually, there are many fun places in Emperor City, and there are many delicious food. Why don't I show you around? Delicious food? Yin Shutian's eyes lit up, and he smiled smartly. Okay, I like sweet food. Wang Haoyan smiled. There's a tea house with good pastries. I'll take you there. Thank you. But isn't it bad for you to leave Ouyang like this? Yin Shutian asked while sucking on his fingers. She came here to destroy Ouyang's happiness, but she couldn't cheat Wang Haoyan. Could she? She didn't have a grudge against Wang Haoyan. I don't want to marry her. Wang Haoyan pursed his thin lips. I didn't want to marry her from the beginning. Yin Shutian raised his chin. If you don't want to marry her, why didn't you refuse from the beginning? Mother said that if you don't like someone, you can't give them any hope. A marriage made for the sake of making do won't bring happiness to both parties. Wang Haoyan looked at the girl's pretty face in a daze. It was the first time he heard someone say these words. Everyone said that it was the order of one's parents and the words of a matchmaker. In this era, it was impossible to choose the person one loved. Therefore, he listened to his parents' orders and married a woman he didn't love. I don't know. There was a complicated look in his eyes. No one has ever told me this. Yin Shutian raised his chin. I'm very grateful to my parents. They gave me a superior life and the best education. Also, they let me choose my own marriage. Wang Haoyan looked at Yin Shutian in a daze. He suddenly had a feeling that she must have been very happy during the 10 years she left. Otherwise, how could a little girl who had gone through such an unforeseen event have such a bright and beautiful smile? Then, do you have someone you like? Wang Haoyan's heart was in his throat as he nervously looked at Yun Chutian. The young man's incomparably handsome face appeared in Yun Chutian's mind. His face was like a peach blossom, and his cheeks were blushing. Yes, she liked Brother Nianfeng. In this lifetime, she would only marry him. Wang Haoyan lowered his head in disappointment. So, she already had a man she deeply loved. However, such a cute little girl was not bad to be a younger sister. Wang Haoyan quickly walked out after consoling himself. He smiled and said, "Let's go. Didn't you say that you were hungry? I'll take you to eat some pastries." All right. At the mention of food, Yun Chutian threw everything to the back of her mind. She giggled and followed Wang Haoyan out of the palace. Emperor's City. As the most famous tea house in the imperial city, it had long been overcrowded. Fortunately, Wang Haoyan was the prime minister's son, so he easily got a private room. However, when those people saw Wang Haoyan, who was supposed to be in the middle of his wedding, bring a girl in and out of the tea house, they immediately started discussing. Who is that girl just now? She looks pretty good. Doesn't she know that Wang Haoyan is the second princess's husband? She actually went in and out of the tea house with her. Chapter 2244. Tisk, could this girl be Wang Haoyan's concubine? It's said that the concubines in Wang Haoyan's residence are all very beautiful. I wonder if she's one of them. But isn't it inappropriate for him to bring a concubine out on his wedding day? How could a kind-hearted person like the second princess find such a man? Actually, you've all guessed wrong. That girl is also a princess of the royal family. However, 10 years ago, she poisoned the second princess and was discovered by His Majesty. That was why she was burned at the stake. However, she was captured by a dragon at the critical moment. I also heard that the dragon wanted to eat her, but she escaped in the end. The person who said this was obviously an insider. Even what he said was said by the second princess in the Hall of Supreme Harmony. A cousin of mine is on duty in the palace. He told me all of this. Furthermore, according to my cousin, she should have hooked up with Wang Haoyan a long time ago. Otherwise, she wouldn't have purposely appeared today to cause trouble. Moreover, after she appeared, Wang Haoyan just left with her, leaving the second princess alone. Sigh, why would such a beautiful second princess meet such a person? All right, she said that she's no longer a member of the palace. Now, she's called Yun Chutian or something. Just as this person finished speaking, a person in white suddenly flashed in from outside the tea house. A hand violently strangled his neck. He was so scared that his face turned pale. When he raised his head, what he saw was a handsome face. The youth was not old, about 15 or 16 years old. His eyes were cold, and his body was enveloped in a layer of cold air. Where's the Yun Chutian you mentioned just now? The person pointed to the private room upstairs. They went to the Ting private room. Whoosh! The youth threw his body down. With a flash of white, he was already on the second floor. He raised his leg and kicked the door of the private room. At this moment, inside the private room, Yun Chutian's eyes were smiling, and she occasionally let out a delicate laugh. Suddenly, the door of the private room was kicked open. She turned her head in shock and instantly saw a handsome youth walk in with a livid face. You. Yun Chutian stood up in shock and stuttered. Big brother Nianfeng, why are you here? Yun Nianfeng's cold eyes swept over Wang Haoyan. He slowly walked in front of Yun Chutian and forcefully embraced him. My fiancé has caused you trouble. Fiancé? Wang Haoyan smiled bitterly. So this young man was the one she liked. Big brother Nianfeng. Yun Chutian pouted. I'm not troublesome. Shut up. Yun Nianfeng glared at her angrily. He no longer had his usual gentleness. You left without saying a word. I haven't settled the score with you yet. How dare you say you're not troublesome? If I hadn't pestered my mother to ask about your whereabouts, how long would you have hidden it from me? Yun Chutian lowered his head and didn't dare to make a sound. He was afraid that he would be scolded if he said anything. Besides, you're already so old. Don't you know how sinister people can be? You just left with a random man? Yun Nianfeng sneered. I didn't. Yun Chutian's voice was weak. She knew that Wang Haoyan couldn't beat her, which was why she dared to come to the tea house with him. It wasn't as bad as Big Brother Nianfeng said. Yin Yinfeng glanced at Wang Haoyan. I'm here. You don't need to take care of her anymore. I'll take this girl away first. Chapter 22:45. Yin Shutian wanted to speak, but Yin Yinfeng picked him up by the waist and jumped out of the window. On the street, they suddenly saw a young man jumping down from the window with a young girl in his arms. The people walking on the street were almost startled. Even after they left, there were still people who were in a daze. Miss, what's wrong? Not far away, the young lady in the yellow dress stared blankly in the direction where Yin Yinfeng left. Her eyes were filled with infatuation, and she didn't return to her senses for a long time. The maidservant behind her asked nervously when she saw the young lady's expression. The young lady in the yellow dress shook her head, but her gaze never left the place where Yin Yinfeng disappeared. Her lips curled into a faint smile. I've finally found you. Even though nearly 10 years have passed and your appearance has changed, I can still recognize you at a glance. The young lady in the yellow dress closed her eyes, her gaze filled with deep pain. She would never forget how her mother had been framed and killed. She would never forget how her mother had asked her to take revenge. However, ever since her parents were executed, that woman also disappeared. Not long ago, when she had gone on an adventure with her team deep in the mountains, she had lost her footing and accidentally knocked down a door. When she opened the door, she woke up in this world and became the daughter of the Prime Minister. Fortunately, she wasn't feeling well today. She was afraid that it would be inauspicious for the second princess wedding, so she didn't attend her brother's wedding. Otherwise, she wouldn't have found him in this vast crowd. So what if he was the son of her enemy? Ever since she saw him many years ago, she swore that she would only marry him in this life. Even if she didn't take revenge, she would become his wife. At the inn, Yin Yinfeng pushed open the door and threw Yin Chutian onto the bed. Yin Chutian curled up weakly by the bed and said pitifully, Mother promised me not to tell you my whereabouts. You came to the Sky Emperor city alone. Do you think Mother can be at ease? If you're deceived by a wild man, you'll never be able to return. I won't. Yin Chutian pouted, and her eyes suddenly lit up. Brother Yinfeng, are you jealous? Jealous? Yin Yinfeng's handsome face stiffened. He subconsciously turned his head and didn't look at the girl's bright eyes. I'm just afraid that you've been deceived. Also, I just asked around. That person called Wang Haoyan almost married the royal princess. How could a person who could be so casual about his marriage be anything good? Most importantly, he has a concubine. Perhaps it was because he was deeply influenced by Yun Xiao that Yin Yinfeng naturally wanted to be a couple for the rest of his life. He would definitely look down on a man like Wang Haoyan. Shutian, you're still young. I'm afraid that you'll be deceived. When you grow up, I won't care about you anymore. Really? Yin Shutian got up from the bed and put his arms around Yin Yinfeng's neck. When I grow up, will you let me marry another man? Yin Yinfeng's heart tightened. Although he kept saying that Yin Shutian was too young and that he was afraid that she would regret it in the future, he didn't go further with her. However, if he really let this girl marry someone else, he would probably kill someone. Big brother Yinfeng, just admit that you're jealous. Yin Shutian moved her pink lips closer to Yin Yinfeng's and smiled. But don't worry, I'll definitely only marry you. No other man can compare to big brother Yinfeng. Chapter 22:46. Hearing Yin Chutian's words, it would be a lie to say that he was unhappy. Yin Yinfeng's expression gradually improved as he pulled Yin Chutian to sit beside him. Mother didn't tell me the specifics. Tell me first, how did those people bully you? Yin Yinfeng asked gently as he stroked the girl's hair. Yin Chutian turned his head. Actually, it all happened before I was 5 years old. Before I was 5, I lived in the cold palace with Mother. At that time, I was very interested in medical skills and even taught Ouyang Yu many medical skills. At that time, only Ouyang Yu came to the cold palace to see me, so I naturally believed her. But the day after that, she used the prescription I gave her to save many people with acute illnesses. In the end, she became the savior of everyone. She was even more afraid that I would expose her secret, so she purposely poisoned herself and framed me. Big brother Yinfeng, do you know that when I first learned medical skills, I went to find the man on the dragon throne, but he didn't believe me. He thought that a 5-year-old child like me couldn't have any medical skills. Moreover, in these 5 years, I didn't come into contact with anyone in the Cold Palace and didn't learn from a master. So, he trusted Ouyang Yu deeply. Later, the people said that Ouyang Yu was a goddess sent by heaven to save them, and that I was a demonic woman who harmed the goddess. That man didn't even investigate and ordered people to tie me up and burn me at the stake. Yin Chuqian's tone was very calm. It had been so many years, and she had almost forgotten about those things. She had her father, mother, and big brother Yinfeng now. That was enough. Back then, it was mother and father who appeared and saved me. Otherwise, I'm afraid, I would have died long ago. Yin Chutian lowered her eyes and faintly curled the corners of her lips. Yin Yinfeng's heart ached. He pulled Yin Chutian into his arms and gently rubbed her little head with his fingers. Tian I will protect you. I will also make sure that no one who hurt you is left alive. A murderous intent flashed in Yun Yinfeng's eyes. Although they had been well protected under Yin Luofeng and Yun Zhao's wings all these years, Yun Yinfeng was their child after all. The bloodthirst in his bones couldn't be erased, especially when Yin Chutian was almost killed. When he thought of this, a wave of anger surged from the bottom of his heart. Big brother Yinfeng. Yin Chutian buried his head in Yun Yinfeng's chest and looked up at the young man's handsome face. I'm already very satisfied now. Father and mother have always loved me as their own daughter. What happens to others has nothing to do with me. She had never treated that man as her father. She only had one father, Yin Xiao. Tian do you know something? Yin Yinfeng's lips curled up. Mother told me this before you came. I've always remembered it. What is it? Actually, Mother didn't look for you for no reason. In your previous life, you were Mother's daughter. Even though she wasn't your biological daughter, Mother was the first person you saw when you opened your eyes. Later on, you even lost your life for Mother. She waited for you to reincarnate before she went to look for you. Yin Chutian was stunned. He raised his small face and blinked his eyes. So this is how the fate between me and Mother came about. No wonder I like Mother so much. Chapter 22:47. Are you planning to go to the palace or stay here? Yin Yinfeng smiled faintly, his eyes filled with gentleness. Brother Yinfeng, come with me to the palace. I've subdued those people today, and they don't dare to act rashly. Moreover, she also wanted to make Ouyang Yu unhappy. Okay. Yin Yinfeng got up and draped a windbreaker over Yun Chutian. Her cheeks were like peach blossoms, pink and lovely. Just as the two of them were about to walk out of the inn, a figure bumped into them. Yin Yinfeng frowned and pulled Yun Chutian to the side. The young lady was caught off guard and fell to the ground. Miss! The maidservants behind her were dumbfounded. They hurried forward and helped the young lady up. They asked anxiously, Miss, are you okay? I'm fine. The young lady in the yellow dress shook her head and looked at Yun Yinfeng shyly. Young master, I'm really sorry just now. I didn't look ahead and almost bumped into you. Yin Yinfeng frowned. For some reason, he did not have a good impression of this young lady. Be careful next time. It's fine if you bump into me, but if you accidentally hurt my Tiana, I'm afraid it won't end so easily. Yin Chutian laughed. Brother Yinfeng, what are you talking about? How can I be hurt so easily? You're thin and weak. She's so fat. Won't she crush you? Yin Yinfeng glanced coldly at the young lady in the yellow dress, and a trace of disgust flashed across his eyes. He had seen this kind of gaze too many times. Without thinking, he knew that this woman was definitely looking for trouble on purpose. The young lady in the yellow dress's face turned pale at Yin Yinfeng's words. She clenched her fists tightly and forced a smile. Young master is right. Xu Yin will definitely not do it again. Her figure was only plump. This kind of figure was rather popular in this place. It could be seen from the young talents who stepped into the prime minister's residence. But in his mouth it became fat. It's good that you know. Tian let's go. Yin Yinfeng pulled Yin Chutian's little hand and left without looking back. The yellow-dressed girl clenched her fists tightly and took a deep breath. Shaolin, I'll only be a vegetarian from now on. You don't have to prepare any more meat for me. Since he likes slim women, she would lose weight for him. In any case, he would eventually be her man. Also, who is the woman beside him? A cold light flashed across Ouyang Shuilian's eyes as she continued asking. Miss, there was news from the Imperial Palace just now that the 7th princess has returned. However, the young master who was supposed to be at the wedding was abducted by the 7th princess. I also asked around at the tea house just now. That young lady is the 7th princess. Brother has been kidnapped? Wang Shuilian sneered, and her eyes were filled with mockery. How could such a fickle woman be anything good? He was really blind to be tossed around by this kind of woman. However, Big Brother abandoned 2nd princess for her, so he must be led by the nose by this fox. Yin Yinfeng was here. Then was her cousin, Yin Luofeng, also here? Unfortunately, she was no longer the little girl in China whose parents had been sentenced to death. She had now become the eldest daughter of the Prime Minister's residence. If she were to see Yin Luofeng here, he would definitely die without a burial place. Of course, if Yin Yinfeng was willing to marry her, she would let Yin Luofeng go. Chapter 2248. Recalling the past, Wang Shuilian gradually returned to the Prime Minister's residence. From afar, she could hear Wang Haoyan arguing with his father, Wang Yu. Father, I've said it before, I won't marry the 2nd princess again. Wang Haoyan's expression was very firm, and he looked unmoved. Wang Yu angrily slapped him and said furiously, How dare you? You left the 2nd princess on the day of your wedding and embarrassed the royal family. If it wasn't for His Majesty's favor, do you think you would still have a chance to live? Moreover, Yin Shutian will die sooner or later. You will only be a burden if you follow her. Wang Haoyan licked the blood on the corner of his mouth. I don't care. I didn't know anything before and did whatever you said. Now, I understand that I can't blindly obey. I want to fight for my own happiness. Shut up. I'm telling you, you must marry the 2nd princess. Otherwise, His Majesty will never let you go. Wang Yu bitterly rebuked. He really didn't know what Yin Shutian instilled in his son that he dared to defy his father and look down on the royal family. This situation must not happen. Father. A gentle voice came from behind. Wang Yu was startled. He turned around and saw Wang Shuilian walking towards him. His tone softened. Lianer, what's wrong? Father, I have something to say to my brother. Wang Shuilian smiled gently, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. She looked at Wang Haoyan with disdain instead of respect. She really didn't know how the original owner of this body had such a brother. The 2nd princess was such a good person, but he didn't want her. Moreover, if he married the 2nd princess, the Prime Minister's residence would also rise. Otherwise, even she would be a burden. Why are you looking for me? Wang Haoyan replied, unhappily. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but he felt that his sister had changed since she recovered. He remembered that Wang Shuilian used to think for him everywhere. But now, she gave off a very selfish feeling. That's right, selfish. It was as if she had become a completely different person. Okay, you two have a good chat. Wang Yu didn't notice anything. He smiled and patted Wang Shuilian's head before leaving. Wang Shuilian smiled. Brother, I know you like the 7th princess. Wang Haoyan was startled and frowned. She said that she has already forgotten her previous identity. She is now called Yin Shutian, so you better not call her 7th princess. Brother, Wang Shuilian laughed. I just saw 7 on the street. I saw Yin Shutian, and there was a man beside her. Coincidentally, I also know that man. Suspicion flashed across Wang Haoyan's eyes. How do you know Chutian's fiancé? Fiancé. These 3 words fiercely gripped Wang Shuilian's heart. She lowered her eyes, concealing the hatred in them. So he's actually her fiancé. It must be that evil woman, Yin Luofeng, who forced him to marry Yin Shutian. He was definitely not happy about it. What could that vicious woman not do? Big brother. Wang Shuilian raised her head and looked at Wang Haoyan's handsome face. She smiled and asked, Do you know who that young man is? What is his identity? I don't know the specifics. I only know that he has a vicious mother. Wang Shuilian's eyes were full of hatred. I met a friend before. When that friend was very young, his parents were killed. The murderer who killed them was Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng only did such a vicious thing to steal someone's property. Chapter 2249. The friend she spoke of was none other than his previous life. If it wasn't for Yun Luofeng, she wouldn't have become an orphan and been bullied for so many years. What are you talking about? Wang Haoyan turned pale with fright. That youth actually had such a vicious mother. If Yin Chutian really married into his family, how could she feel good? Shuelian, what should I do? I can't let Chutian fall into a wolf's den. Brother, Wang Shuelian's lips curled up, secretly give this medicine to Yin Chutian. After you and her consummate, in the future, she will be your wife. Wang Haoyan was stunned and frowned. That's not very good. Plus, Yin Chutian also said that she's immune to all poisons. Immune to all poisons can't be poisoned, but this medicine isn't poison. It's still very effective on her. Moreover, Wang Shuelian didn't believe in being immune to all poisons at all. No, I have to tell Chutian about her future mother-in-law first. Wang Haoyan frowned. He really didn't want to hurt such a beautiful girl. My brother, do you think she'll believe you? A woman in love has a negative IQ. She won't believe you. You can keep the medicine for now. I believe you'll know what's best for yourself. Wang Haoyan didn't understand what Wang Shuelian meant, but he understood that Yin Chutian wouldn't believe him. I have to try. I can't hurt her. Wang Haoyan looked at the powder Wang Shuelian handed over and didn't accept it. Instead, he quickly walked out of the door. Useless thing. Wang Shuelian looked in the direction Wang Haoyan left and sneered. Since you don't have the guts, I'll help you. Her eyes flashed, and the corners of her mouth curled into a determined smile. In those years in Wuxia, she read many novels about transmigration. In those novels, the people who transmigrated were the main characters. Since she was also the main character, Yin Yinfeng must be her destined person. As for Yin Chutian, the so-called fiancé, she was just cannon fodder between them. She would have to leave sooner or later. In the inner courtyard of the palace, Yin Chutian held a pastry and crossed her legs, sitting on the mat without any posture. Her bare feet were small and cute. There was cake dust on the corner of her mouth, and she stuck out her tongue to lick it. Why isn't Brother Yinfeng back yet? She pouted her lips and muttered to herself. Miss Chutian. Suddenly, Wang Haoyan's voice came from outside the door. Can I come in? Although that was what he said, Wang Haoyan didn't wait for Yin Chutian's consent and walked in without asking. What are you doing in here? Yin Chutian stood up from the mat and asked impatiently. Wang Haoyan was stunned. Wasn't everything fine just now? Why did he feel that? Yin Chutian was rejecting his approach now? This feeling made Wang Haoyan a little flustered. I just came to look for you. But Brother Yinfeng doesn't like you. Yin Chutian blinked his big eyes. I don't want to be friends with someone Brother Yinfeng doesn't like. Anyway, Brother Yinfeng's feelings were the most important. Miss Chutian. Wang Haoyan panicked even more. I'm here to tell you something. I heard that your fiancé's mother is very evil and has done many evil deeds. I'm afraid that you'll be kept in the dark and ruin your life, so I'm here to tell you the truth. Yin Chutian was angry. A scarlet light flashed across her eyes, and she said angrily, I thought you were a good person. Even if Brother Yinfeng doesn't like you, I don't hate you. But I didn't expect you to speak ill of Mother. Get out of my palace. Chapter 2250. Miss Chutian. Wang Haoyan didn't know what he said wrong and went forward to grab Yin Chutian's hand, who knew that Yin Chutian's palm would directly hit his chest and immediately send him flying. Go away, I don't welcome you. Those who speak ill of Mother are not good people. Get lost. Dragons had a reverse scale. Other than Brother Yinfeng, her reverse scale was also her parents, whom she cared about. She couldn't even say a bad word. Cough, cough. Wang Haoyan fell to the ground and coughed out 2 mouthfuls of blood. His face was a little pale as he painfully looked at the angry little face. Chutian, what happened? Suddenly, a light breeze flashed in from outside the door. Yin Yinfeng quickly walked to Yin Chutian's side and looked at the girl's red little face. He couldn't help but feel a little distressed. Tell brother, did someone bully you? His gaze swept over Wang Haoyan, who was lying on the ground, and the murderous intent in his eyes was revealed bit by bit. Yin Chutian pouted and said angrily, Brother Yinfeng, get him out. I don't want to see him. Okay, I'll let it go now. Yin Yinfeng's eyes were very cold as he slowly walked toward Wang Haoyan. Chutian is always at a good temper and never gets angry easily. You're really capable to make her angry. Yin Yinfeng sneered. Now, are you going to leave by yourself, or should I throw you out? Wang Haoyan supported his body and stood up from the ground. He looked at Yin Chutian's little face in despair and finally turned to walk out the door. His hands, which were originally placed by his sides, involuntarily clenched. He took a deep breath to suppress the pain in his heart. This was the first time he liked someone. It turned out that this kind of love was so painful. Wang Haoyan didn't walk for long before he saw Wang Shiulian waiting for him not far away. The moment she saw Wang Haoyan, a smile appeared at the corner of Wang Shiulian's mouth. I already said that she wouldn't believe you. How is it? Do you need my medicine? Wang Haoyan's body trembled and he closed his eyes. I don't want to hurt her. She already hates me very much. Hating you is only temporary. When she discovers Yin Luofeng's true colors, she will only be grateful to you. At that time, you will be a loving couple. Will you still remember your past mistakes? Wang Shiulian smiled. You should know that if you don't help her today, perhaps her whole life will be ruined. Wang Haoyan was silent. After a long time, he raised his head and said, She doesn't welcome me anymore. I can't drug her either. You don't have to worry about this. I've already ordered someone to drug him. When the time comes, I'll find someone to take Yin Yinfeng away. You can go in. She didn't want Yin Chutian to take advantage of her, so she had to make Yin Yinfeng leave. Otherwise, wouldn't her man's first time be taken away by this wild woman? Regarding this matter, Wang Shiulian still had a very deep concept. In the future, Yin Yinfeng's first time had to be given to him. Similarly, he could only have her as his woman. She would never share her husband with anyone else. All right, Wang Haoyan opened his eyes. I agree. As long as she won't be deceived, even if I hate her, I'm willing to do it. Just wait to marry your beautiful wife. Wang Shiulian smiled proudly. In this place, no one could beat her. It was nighttime. The moonlight was like water. Yin Chutian quietly stayed in the palace. Perhaps the people in the palace were afraid of her, so no one came to disturb her. Even the second princess didn't appear. Chapter 22:51. Seventh Princess. A palace maid walked in with a plate of pastries. This is the water chestnut cake you wanted. I said, Don't call me seventh princess, Yin Chutian said with dissatisfaction. Just call me Miss Yin. Yes, Miss Yin. The palace maid lowered her head and didn't move. Yin Chutian pouted and said impatiently, You can leave first. The palace maid bowed and retreated. Only Yin Yinfeng and Yin Chutian were left in the entire palace. Brother Yinfeng, there's something wrong with that palace maid. After the palace maid left, Yin Chutian's little face immediately darkened. Oh, Yin Yinfeng turned to look at the girl beside him and asked, What's the problem? I told the palace maid of the Green Mist Palace during the day not to call me seventh princess. You can only call me Miss Yin, but that palace maid obviously called me wrong. Yin Yinfeng raised his eyebrows and asked with a faint smile, Maybe she forgot. No, Yin Chutian shook his head. I've lived in the palace for 5 years, and I know the rules and regulations. As a palace maid in the palace, she would never make such a low-level mistake. So, the palace maid just now is not from Qinglan Palace. Could she have been sent by my second sister? Yin Chutian had chased away the original palace maids of the Green Mist Palace. Instead, the Cold Palace found some to serve her. However, even the palace maids of the Cold Palace wouldn't make such a low-level mistake. Yin Yinfeng glanced at the pastries in front of Yin Chutian. There's something wrong with these pastries. Hearing this, Yin Chutian also took out a piece of pastry and put it under his nose to smell it. Aphrodisiac powder. As soon as these 3 words fell, the two's expressions changed. I originally thought that Ouyang you wanted to harm me, but now that I think about it, Ouyang you knows my abilities. It's impossible for her to harm me. Plus, it's not poison but aphrodisiac powder. Aphrodisiac powder was an aphrodisiac. Ouyang you had no motive to drug her at all. Wang Haoyan. A name appeared in Yin Yinfeng's mind, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Yin Chutian was stunned. It can't be him. He said that he treats me like a little sister. Chutian, I'm a man. You have to believe my feelings. The way he looks at you is very different. It's like how he looks at his lover. So, he has a motive to do this, Yin Yinfeng explained very seriously. Then what should we do? Do you want to expose him? I have a way. Yin Yinfeng smiled mysteriously. Tell me where Ouyang Yu's palace is. Oh. Yin Chutian grunted and stroked his chin. What does Brother Yinfeng want to do? Of course, it's to help him achieve his goal. Who asked Wang Haoyan to spy on Chutian? Then he would make sure that he would never have the qualifications to do so. What's more, he was the one who drugged her, so he had to pay for his actions. Inside the side hall, Ouyang Yu was planning to rest. Suddenly, a figure rushed in from outside the door. With a bang, the figure hit Ouyang Yu's head. She immediately lost consciousness. Yin Yinfeng looked at the woman on the ground with some disdain. He thought for a while and picked up the blanket at the side to wrap Ouyang Yu's body. Then, he found a rope and tied it to the blanket. He used the rope to drag Ouyang Yu away. Fortunately, those patrolling people were knocked unconscious by him, so they didn't meet anyone along the way. When he arrived at Qinglan Hall, he threw Ouyang Yu inside. Chapter 2252. Brother Yinfeng, should we hide here and watch? Yin Shutian's eyes lit up like a cunning little fox. Yin Yinfeng's face darkened. Let's go outside. Wait. Seeing Yin Yinfeng stretch out his hand, a glint flashed across Yin Shutian's eyes. He smiled and took out a bottle of spiritual liquid. This is an aphrodisiac that I use to concoct with Mother's spiritual medicine, but your acacia powder is much stronger. I'll feed it to her now. After saying that, she slowly walked forward and carefully fed the spiritual liquid into Ouyang Yu's mouth. Although Ouyang Yu was unconscious, the spiritual liquid still flowed into her body. After a while, her body began to heat up and her breathing became heavy. Brother Yinfeng, let's go. The effect of this spiritual liquid is very strong. If you stay, she'll definitely pounce on you. Yin Shutian clapped her hands and walked to Yin Yinfeng's side. She forcefully hooked his arm. You're mine. I don't want to give you to another woman. After so many years, Yin Yinfeng was already used to Yin Shutian's confession from time to time. He felt warmth in his heart, but when he thought of the spiritual liquid in Yin Shutian's hand, his face darkened again. Shouldn't you explain what's going on with that spiritual liquid? Yin Shutian blinked and asked with a confused gaze. I don't understand what you're saying. You're still pretending. Why do you have such a thing on you? This. Yin Shutian carefully looked at Yin Yinfeng. I wanted to let you drink it, but I didn't expect Ouyang Yu to benefit from it. Yin Yinfeng's face darkened. I said that when you're 18 years old, if you're still determined to marry me, I'll marry you. Wasn't he just afraid that this girl was too young and would regret it in the future? At that time, wouldn't he harm her for the rest of her life? Brother Yinfeng, I know what I want. Yin Shutian's eyes were very bright as she looked up at the handsome youth in front of her. I'm also very determined in my heart. As long as you're willing to marry me now, I'll immediately marry you. I won't regret it for the rest of my life. Are you sure? Yin Yinfeng narrowed his eyes and pulled Yin Shutian into the bushes at the side. His body pressed tightly against her. You really won't regret it? As if sensing the sudden change in the young man's aura, Yin Shutian's heart was a little flustered. Although she had prepared this medicine, she didn't have the guts to try it. Why did the current Brother Yinfeng make her feel so scared, as if he had taken drugs? Brother Yinfeng, it's not too late to regret it now. Yin Yinfeng's lips curled into a smile as he looked at the girl in front of him seriously. Yin Shutian's heart trembled. She looked up at the young man's eyes and pursed her thin lips. I want to marry you. From the very beginning, she had wanted to marry him. All right, you've already confirmed it. If I don't do something, what kind of man am I? Yin Yinfeng lowered his head. I gave you a chance to regret, but you didn't cherish it. In the future, even if you regret it, I won't let you go. He pressed Yin Shutian's body tightly and fiercely kissed the delicate lips below. His kiss was so forceful that Yin Shutian's eyes were filled with tears. Ugh, she wanted to struggle, but the young man's strength was so great that she couldn't resist. This feeling made Yin Shutian panic. Her fingers clutched the soil on the ground tightly as she looked at the young man in front of her pitifully. Chapter 22:07. Brother Nianfeng was such a gentle person. Why was he so violent at a time like this? Chutian. After a long time, Nianfeng finally let go of the girl below him. In the future, I won't let you go. You can't leave even if you want to. Chutian nodded. She suddenly thought of something and said pitifully, Brother Nianfeng, can you not kiss me so hard? It hurts. Nianfeng then noticed the girl's red and swollen lips. A trace of guilt flashed across his eyes. Sorry, I hurt you. I'll be more careful in the future. He's here. His gaze shifted, and he hurriedly pulled Chutian up from the ground and held her in his arms. Both of them looked forward. Under the moonlight, Wang Haoyan's footsteps were somewhat hurried as he quickly pushed open the door of Green Mist Palace. Seeing his appearance, Chutian's expression was very disappointed. It's really him. Now you already know what kind of trash the men outside are. Nianfeng raised his eyebrows, implying that the men outside were all bastards, and only he was the best. After a while, moans came from inside the house. The sound pierced through the night and resounded through the clouds. It also made Chutian's face turn red as he tightly pulled Nianfeng's sleeve. Brother Nianfeng, should we leave for a while? No need. Nianfeng smiled and thoughtfully covered Chutian's ears with his hand. You won't be able to hear it this way. Indeed, without those sounds, Chutian's expression became much better. She looked at Nianfeng curiously and asked, Brother Nianfeng, don't you think that this sound is very, very piercing? She really did not know what words to use to describe it, so she said this. The corners of Nianfeng's mouth twitched. What could he say? Was he supposed to tell Chutian that he was immature when he was young and often hid under his parents' bed with a maidservant and listened to them for an entire night? If this matter was known by this girl, who knew how she would laugh at him? I automatically blocked this sound. Nianfeng raised his lips and looked at the lights coming from the corridor not far away. It seems that this sound is too loud and attracted other people. That's good. It saves us trouble. Of course. Chutian raised his little head proudly. Don't you know who concocted the spiritual fluid? How could Ouyang you withstand it? Nianfeng's ear lovingly scratched Chutian's little nose. When mother comes, I will tell her what you have done. You can also explain why you concocted this medicine. Huh? Chutian's face was sullen. Brother Nianfeng, don't tell mother. I know I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. You really won't dare to do it again. Really? More real than pearls. Chutian hurriedly nodded. This matter must not be known to mother. Otherwise, mother would punish him to memorize those boring books again. Chutian suddenly came back to his senses and asked, All right, you just said that mother is coming. You are mother's goddaughter, her future daughter-in-law. How can she not come to support you? But Chutian was a little depressed. Didn't mother promise me to take revenge myself? The promise is temporary. If she didn't promise you back then, you would definitely find an excuse not to go and find a time when no one knows about it. How can she support you then? Nianfeng smiled. Mother wants everyone to know that you are her daughter and that the people in Sky Emperor City will not dare to look down on you anymore. Chapter 22:53. Hearing this, Chutian's mood gradually improved. Brother Nianfeng, then don't tell mother that you kissed me just now. If mother finds out, she'll definitely hold a wedding for us immediately. At that moment, Nianfeng's face darkened. Didn't you say you wanted to marry me? Are you going back on your words so soon? He bit Chutian's lips again and said fiercely, I won't give you this chance. I want to marry Brother Nianfeng, but once we get married, we have to consummate our marriage. Chutian's face was a little pale. They said that it will be very painful during the consummation. I'm afraid. Don't be afraid. I'll be careful. As soon as Nianfeng said this, he felt that something was wrong. Why did he and Chutian already talk about consummation? Shoo! Nianfeng sensed the approaching footsteps and whispered, They're here. The person leading was Ouyang's son. His expression was very ugly, and his eyes were filled with coldness. He didn't believe it when he heard that Wang Haoyan sneaked in. Now that he heard the sound from the room, His face darkened even more. Wang Xuelian, are you sure that Wang Haotian is in Yin Shutian's room? Ouyang Sun took a deep breath and said coldly, it would be fine if it was someone else in the room, but why did it have to be Wang Haotian? He was going to marry Ouyang Yu, but it was ruined by Yin Shutian. Now that they were together, how could the royal family save face? Your Majesty, I also heard from my brother that Yin Shutian sent him a letter at night and asked to meet him. I think my brother can only belong to the second princess, so I went to your Majesty to clarify this matter. But my brother is innocent, and I hope your Majesty can let him go. Wang Xuelian's face was filled with undisguised anxiety, but when no one saw it, the corners of her mouth curled into a smug smile. Yin Shutian, you're no longer a virgin. Let's see how you can still seduce my man. Ouyang Sun's face turned cold as he shouted sternly, guards, break the door open. 2 guards stepped forward and kicked the door open. The room was pitch black, and they could only faintly hear 2 blurry figures in front of them. Light the lamp. As Ouyang Sun's words fell, a eunuch took out a lamp from behind and placed it on the table. However, after seeing the scene in the room, everyone was stunned. Wang Haotian's eyes were filled with fear. Perhaps he didn't expect Ouyang Sun to come at this time. Just as he was about to say something to the woman under him, he suddenly found a seductive face. Startled, he hurriedly separated his body that was still joined together and quickly retreated. How could it be you? Ouyang Yu's eyes were like silk. She twisted her body and stood up from the ground. Her clothes were torn, revealing the love bites all over her body. Oh, I want more. She rushed towards Wang Haotian, as if she did not see the group of people who had rushed into the room. Wang Xuelian was also stunned. Why was the woman inside not Yin Shutian, but the second princess? I want it, give it to me. Ouyang Yu pulled Wang Haotian's sleeve and stuck her body to him. Wang Haotian was so shocked that he shook off Ouyang Yu. His face was ashen. Why are you the one in the room? Where's Lady Chutian? Just as he finished speaking, a burst of laughter suddenly came from behind. Are you looking for me? Wang Haotian hurriedly turned around and saw the young boy and girl squeezing through the crowd and squeezing in from behind. Chapter 2254. Yin Shutian crossed his arms in front of his chest and smiled as if he was watching a good show. Miss Chutian, listen to my explanation. Wang Haotian was anxious and wanted to pull Yin Shutian's hand. But before he could reach Yin Shutian, he was blocked by the young man. Get lost. Don't touch Tian with your dirty hands. Wang Haotian took a few steps back and almost fell to the ground. He looked at Yin Shutian in despair and saw the disgust in her eyes. Even before this, she didn't hate him so much. Slap. Ouyang Sun stepped forward and slapped Ouyang Yu's face. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Ouyang Yu gradually came back to her senses. At that moment, all the things that happened before floated in her mind. Ouyang Yu's face turned pale as she screamed, Ah! How could this be? Why was she here? Why did she do such an immoral thing? Ouyang Yu's entire body trembled. She caught a glimpse of the gloating girl beside Yin Yinfeng and suddenly pounced over. It's you, it must be you. Did you bring me to this place and let Wang Haotian do that to me? Yin Shutian's eyes were blank. What are you talking about? Aren't you and Wang Haotian husband and wife? I walked to the door just now and saw you and Wang Haotian walking in. I thought you were going back to your Qinglan palace to consummate your marriage with him. I was kind enough to let you have the palace for one night, but you repaid my kindness with ingratitude. You. Ouyang Yu's face turned red with anger as she glared at Yin Shutian. She knew that after this night, her reputation would be ruined. All of this was Yin Shutian's doing. Yin Shutian, I won't let you off. Ouyang Yu turned to look at Ouyang Sun. Father, I was fine in the palace just now, but I was knocked out. I don't know what they fed me, but I became like this. So, I concluded that someone must have framed me. Her eyes were fixed on Yin Shutian, and the meaning behind her words was obvious. Who would frame her? Other than Yin Shutian, there was probably no one else. Ouyang Sun also thought of this and coldly looked at Yin Shutian. Perhaps Yin Shutian's methods scared him so much that he didn't dare to say another word. Brother Yinfeng, bring me the thing I asked you to find. Yun Chutian smiled and extended his hand to Yun Yinfeng. He raised his eyebrows and looked at the pale Ouyang Yu. All right, Yun Yinfeng responded and took out a yellowing book and handed it to Yun Chutian. When Ouyang Yu saw that book, a trace of panic flashed across her eyes. Why did she hide it so well? How did this brat find it? Yun Chutian ignored Ouyang Yu's panicked eyes and raised his eyebrows to look at Ouyang Sun. Now, I'll show you Ouyang Yu's true colors. What do you mean? Ouyang Sun frowned and asked coldly. As Ouyang Yu's father, you should be able to recognize her notes. Take a look. Are these books written by Ouyang Yu herself? Yun Chutian blinked his eyes and handed the book to Ouyang Sun. Ouyang Sun was stunned and shook his head. No, he could still recognize his daughter's notes. This handwritten book wasn't written by his daughter. Then, do you remember the medicinal herbs needed to treat the plague back then? Yun Chutian casually flipped through a few pages. She didn't even look at them and flipped to the required pages. Is it these? Chapter 2255. Ouyang Sun looked at the book handed over by Yun Chutian in surprise and frowned slightly. I remember that it's indeed these herbs. Yun Chutian smiled. She took the book back and said, First, you said that this isn't Ouyang Yu's notes. Second, you said that these are the herbs used to treat illnesses. Then, can Ouyang Yu explain the problem with this book? A hint of panic flashed across Ouyang Yu's eyes. Imperial Father, this book was given to me by my master, but my master doesn't like others to know about it. That's why he doesn't allow me to tell anyone about him. What she said was reasonable. After all, Ouyang Yu was young back then. It would be very reliable if she had a master behind her. Your master? Yun Chutian's eyes were full of smiles. I don't know where your master is. I'll go and invite him out. I also have a few medical questions to consult. Ouyang Yu suppressed the irritation in her heart and glared fiercely at Yun Chutian. No one understood Yun Chutian's medical attainments better than her. When she was young, she already had such powerful medical skills. Now that many years had passed, she had improved even more. If she found someone else, she would be easily exposed. Thinking of this, Ouyang Yu calmed herself down. My master is really not someone you can see whenever you want, so you'd better not do this useless thing. It's okay. You know my strength. The one beside me is my brother. He's stronger than me. As long as you tell me where he is, I'll immediately invite him out. Anyway, she had already made up her mind to expose Ouyang Yu. Ouyang Yu bit her lip. No, if you do this, it will bring disaster to the entire royal family. My master is very powerful. You can't provoke him. It's okay. Even if I provoke him, it's my own business. If he gets angry, he'll be angry at us. I'll never expose you. Can you tell me now? Ouyang Yu was so angry that her pretty face turned red. Yun Chutian, do you really want to go against me? Yun Chutian blinked his eyes innocently. I just want to see your master. How am I going against you? If your master isn't shameful, why aren't you willing to say it? Or is it that your master's status is too low? Nonsense. Ouyang Yu's brain twitched as she said, My master is one of the two true gods of the continent, Yin Luo Feng. You won't be able to see a person of this level in your entire life, and you still want to see her. Ever since she was young, Yun Chutian knew that Ouyang Yu couldn't be provoked. Once she was provoked, she would say anything to prove herself. But what Yun Chutian didn't expect was that Ouyang Yu actually claimed that her master was Yin Luo Feng. Yin Luo Feng? Ouyang Sun frowned. Yin Xiao? Wah. He suddenly realized why the name Yin Xiao sounded so familiar to him previously. Wasn't he one of the two true gods? Yun Chutian's father was a true god? No, this was just a coincidence. If the father that Yun Chutian recognized was really a true god, then she would have come back for revenge a long time ago. Even if she came now, she would definitely bring a group of experts with her. It was impossible for her to go alone. Therefore, it must be someone with the same name. Wang Shuilian was also shocked. One of the two true deities, Yin Luo Feng? How is this possible? How could she be a true god? Chapter 2256. He was bullied by her in Wuxia, and now that he came to the mainland, he was also bullied by her. What's going on with Yin Luo Feng? She deliberately lowered her voice and asked the palace maid behind her. The palace maid replied, Yun Luo Feng is one of the real gods in this land. He is the ruler of this world. He has been famous in this land for decades, and everyone knows him. He even broke through to real god realm 15 years ago. That's right, famous decades ago, broke through 15 years ago, but Yun Luo Feng had only been missing for 10 years in Wuxia. So this woman they called a true god couldn't be the Yun Luo Feng she knew. At this moment, Wang Shulian didn't know that Yun Luo Feng had indeed come to this mainland decades ago, nor did she know that she left the mainland and returned to Huaxia 10 years ago. It was because she didn't know anything that she made such a low-level mistake. I'm dying of laughter. Yun Shutian clutched his lower abdomen and laughed so hard that he couldn't straighten his back. Brother Nianfeng, this woman actually told such a lie, huh? Ouyang Yu's face paled. In fact, she regretted it the moment she said it, but there was no turning back. She could only bite the bullet and continue. What you can't do doesn't mean that I can't do it. My master already said that I'm the most talented disciple she's ever seen. People like you don't even have the right to look up to her. Yin Shutian's eyes curved into a crescent moon. Then, have you seen her? Of course I have, even though it was on a portrait. This portrait was something that his father had painstakingly obtained in the past. His goal was to prevent himself from accidentally provoking this terrifying woman. So he had memorized her appearance in his heart. Of course, someone with Wang Shulian's identity didn't even have the right to get a portrait, so she didn't know Yun Luofeng's status in this mainland. Yin Yinfeng's expression was ugly. This was what he encountered. In places he didn't, how many people used his mother's name to act like a tyrant? Perhaps some people's actions had even ruined his mother's reputation. Your Majesty. At this moment, a guard walked in from outside the door and said a few words in Ouyang Sun's ear. Ouyang Sun's face lit up, and he suddenly burst into laughter. Yin Shutian, don't be in a hurry to find trouble with my daughter. You should worry about yourself first. Ha ha ha, my royal elder has already come out of seclusion. Tonight will be the night of your death. Really? Yin Shutian smirked and hooked Yin Yinfeng's arm. Big brother Yinfeng, these bad guys are bullying me. How do you think I should deal with them? Yin Yinfeng lovingly caressed Yin Shutian's head. Do whatever you want. Whether it's me, father or mother, we will all support you. His smile was very dazzling, and his doting expression made Wang Shulian, who was standing to the side, feel jealous. She wanted nothing more than to tear this woman into pieces. Who asked her to snatch away the man that belonged to her? When Ouyang Sun saw the smile on Yin Shutian's face, he snorted coldly and said sternly, Go and invite a few elders here. Tell them that someone wants to attack our imperial empire. Yes, your majesty. A guard cupped his fists respectfully and retreated. Yin Shutian didn't stop him. She came to solve the problem once and for all. Since the elders of the royal family had come out of seclusion, it was time for her to take revenge. Chapter 22:57. Boom! A clap of thunder rang out in the pitch-black night sky. Almost at the same time, a voice even louder than thunder came from the night sky. Who is so bold to cause trouble in my sky emperor's city? Yin Yinfeng gently rubbed Yin Yinfeng's head and smiled. I'll settle the matters outside. You can stay here. Brother Yinfeng. Yin Shutian pouted. Didn't you say that I'll take revenge myself? I'm afraid that those people will dirty your hands. Yin Yinfeng's tone was full of pampering. His eyes were so gentle that it could drown a person. Yin Shutian looked at Yin Yinfeng's handsome face. Brother Yinfeng, why do I feel that you're more and more beautiful? You're as beautiful as father and mother. I like Brother Yinfeng the most. Yin Shutian was affected. Whether it was Yin Luofeng or Yin Xiao, they were both so good-looking. Growing up in such a family, she must be very picky about appearance. As for why she liked Yin Yinfeng, it was because her brother Yinfeng was good-looking. Other than her father and mother, no one could compare to him. Yin Yinfeng's handsome face turned red. Wait here for me for a few seconds. I'll be back soon. After saying this, Yin Yinfeng left the room in a flash. Shameless. Wang Shulian's expression changed. She really didn't expect this woman to say such disgusting words, especially to her man. Yin Yinfeng didn't leave for long. Just as he said, he walked back again after a few seconds. His handsome face didn't change. After coldly glancing at the people in front of him, he turned his gaze to Yun Chutian. They're just a group of ants. I've already dealt with them. Ouyang Sun's expression suddenly changed. He shouted sternly, "Why aren't the elders here yet?" He would never believe that a young man who was still wet behind the ears could defeat a few elders. "Your Majesty!" The guard who came to report rushed in again. This time, his body was trembling and his face was full of horror. "Your Majesty, those elders are already dead." Boom! Like a bolt from the blue, Ouyang Sun was dumbfounded. Everyone in the palace turned pale and looked at Yun Yinfeng in horror. Impossible! Where did this young man come from? Why does he have this kind of strength? Yun Yinfeng, Yun Luofeng, Yin Xiao. The combination of these three names reminded Ouyang Sun of what Yin Chutian had said before, and his eyes were filled with astonishment. Did Yin Shu really acknowledge Yun Xiao as his father? Wang Haoyin stood up in a daze. His handsome face was pale as he looked at Yun Chutian and Yun Yinfeng. His lips trembled as if he wanted to say something, but he couldn't. Young Master Yinfeng. Yun Yinfeng's fingers were gently stroking Yun Chutian's hair when a gentle voice suddenly sounded from his side. He frowned and glanced coldly at Wang Shuilian, who was standing in front of him. "It's you again, fatty?" Wang Shuilian clenched her fists tightly. She was only slightly more than 110 kilograms. This was just plump, not fat. But Wang Yinfeng actually kept calling him fatty. "Mr. Yinfeng, my name is Wang Shuilian." She took a deep breath and said, "Big brother Yinfeng." Yin Chutian's two slender arms wrapped around Yun Yinfeng's neck and smiled. "I've really never seen such a shameless person. You've already humiliated her like this, but she still pretends that nothing happened." No matter how thick-skinned Wang Shuilian was, her expression changed slightly after hearing this. Anger flashed in her eyes as she looked at Yun Chutian. Chapter 2258. Brother Yinfeng, this woman dares to glare at me. Yun Chutian pouted and complained pitifully. Don't think that she didn't know that this woman had taken a fancy to her brother Yinfeng. She wouldn't give anyone a chance. Moreover, this Wang Shuilian was Wang Haoyin's sister. Jackals of the same tribe. "I didn't." Wang Shuilian hurriedly retracted her gaze and looked wronged. "Young Master Yinfeng, I've been on a diet lately. Soon, I'll be as thin as her. Moreover, her relationship with my brother was unclear. Don't you think she's dirty?" A trace of coldness flashed across Yun Chutian's eyes. He smiled coquettishly and walked toward Wang Shuilian. Then he slapped her face. Wang Shuilian widened her eyes in shock. She was speaking the truth. This woman actually dared to hit her. "I don't just want to hit you. I also want to kick you." Yin Chutian kicked Yun Shuilian's chest, causing her to fall to the ground. He raised his chin and said condescendingly, "I finally know why mother likes to kick people these days. Cough, cough." Wang Shuilian coughed out 2 mouthfuls of blood and turned to Yun Yinfeng with an ugly expression. "Young Master Yinfeng, she's so presumptuous. Aren't you going to discipline her? Moreover, she was doing it for his own good, wasn't she? It's useless for you to find brother Yinfeng. He's willing to spoil me, so I can be willful. You scolded me just now, so I'm going to hit you. Who asked her to be the one being spoiled? Thus, she had the right to be willful." Enough. Ouyang Sun's expression had returned to normal. He shouted coldly, "Yin Chutian, don't forget that Er's master is Yun Luofeng, one of the 2 true gods of the continent. Do you think this brat is useful just because he defeated our Sky Emperor City's elder? Once makes her master an elder, let's see if you still have a right to be arrogant." Ouyang Yu's face turned pale, and her heart trembled. However, she couldn't reveal anything at this time. "Are you sure your master gave you this book?" Yin Chutian turned his head and sneered at Ouyang Yu. "I'll give you another chance." Ouyang Yu bit her lip. Yes, she would never admit that this book was given to her by Yin Chutian. However, there were still a few questions in the book that she didn't understand. That was why she kept it here until now. It was originally hidden well, but she didn't know how this brat found it. Yin Chutian smiled. That smile was very charming and lively. His eyes and brows were curved and full of spirit. If your master was someone else, I would have to make a trip to bring her out. However, I'm afraid you'll be able to meet the person you're talking about very soon. Ouyang Yu's eyes widened. What did that mean? What did he mean she would be able to see him soon? While everyone was still in shock because of Yin Chutian, a dragon's roar came from the sky. This roar was so earth-shattering that everyone in Heavenly Imperial City ran out. Ouyang Sun's face was pale. His eyes flashed with panic, and he quickly ran out of the palace. Seeing Ouyang Sun go out, the others also ran out of the door and looked at the huge white dragon in the void in astonishment. It's him! Ouyang Sun recognized this dragon at a glance. It was the one that kidnapped Yin Chutian back then. He still remembered that there was a woman in white standing on the white dragon. However, the woman's face seemed to be covered by a layer of white mist. In addition, he was busy running for his life, so he didn't notice the woman's appearance at all. The white dragon stayed in the void, and the white light on its body shrouded the entire night. Chapter 2259. Ouyang Sun was shocked. He didn't understand why the white dragon was there. Your Majesty, there are 2 people on the dragon's head. Suddenly, one of the eunuchs screamed, his voice trembling. Only then did Ouyang Sun see the 2 people clearly. The woman's white dress fluttered, and she was as beautiful as a painting. The man standing beside her was dressed in black, and he was as cold as an eagle in the night. However, when he looked at the woman beside him, there was a hint of gentleness in his eyes that was hard to detect. The 2 of them were as perfect as an immortal couple. They were so stunning that people couldn't take their eyes off them. Swoosh! While everyone was still in shock, the 2 of them had already leaped down from the white dragon's head and landed steadily on the ground. Ouyang Sun's gaze changed from the initial shock to astonishment as he stared at the beautiful woman in white. You're Miss Yin Luo Feng? The person who caused an uproar in the entire mainland? Yin Shuoyan's lips were trembling. She took a few steps back and shook her head. She was so shocked that she couldn't say a word. Even after 10 years, she would never forget this face. But in 10 years, many people had aged and she had grown up. Why was this woman still as young and beautiful as she was 10 years ago? Her face didn't change at all. What was even more difficult for Yin Shuoyan to accept was that this woman was only riding on a dragon. Moreover, from Ouyang Sun's words, she could tell that Yin Luo Feng was the real god they were talking about. Not the same name? No. How could she accept this fact? Mother! Yin Chutian couldn't help but laugh when he saw Yin Luo Feng. His body flashed, and he rushed into Yin Luo Feng's arms, raising his cute face. Mother, you're finally here. Mother? Ouyang Sun's face twitched. He felt as if his heart had been punched by a heavy fist, and he almost couldn't breathe. Ouyang Yu was even more shocked. She had never seen Yin Luo Feng in person, but she had seen the portrait, and the portrait was exactly the same as the woman in front of her. But why was this powerful woman Yin Chutian's adoptive mother? Mother. Yin Yinfeng also walked forward with a smile on his face. His words were even harder to accept. Yin Chutian was only an adopted daughter, but this youth was Yin Luo Feng and Yin Zhao's biological son. But what did they just do? He actually wanted to lay his hands on the true God's son? Are you tired of living? Mother, I have something to ask you. When did you accept a disciple? Yin Chutian pouted his tender little mouth and asked coquettishly. Yin Luo Feng was startled. Did you forget that I have a disciple? I was planning to arrange the marriage between little Mo and little Bai during your wedding with Yinfeng. Did you forget about little Bai? Mother, I'm not talking about little Bai. Yin Chutian pointed at Ouyang Yu with his chin. Just now, this woman said that she's your disciple and that you wrote this book. In fact, she tricked me into giving it to her. Ouyang Yu's face had already lost all color. She really wanted to faint, but her mind was very clear, so she couldn't even faint. Yin Luo Feng casually flipped open the book that Yin Chutian handed over and smiled faintly. Most of the answers in this book are correct. Only a few questions are wrong. Chapter 2260. I was only 5 years old at that time, and no one taught me. I learned medical skills by my own efforts. Yin Chutian stuck out his tongue. But I know these questions myself. Didn't I ask you later? I already know what to do now. Yun Luofeng nodded in satisfaction. I'll keep this book as a souvenir. Their conversation was nothing more than an indication of the true owner of the book. Ouyang Sun's face was livid. He turned around and stared at Ouyang Yu angrily. What the hell is going on? Didn't you say this book was given to you by your master? Your master or Miss Yun? Explain it to me now. Plop. Ouyang Yu was so frightened that she knelt on the ground, her body trembling. Imperial father. But daughter knows she was wrong. Please forgive me. Forgive you? How can I forgive you? Ouyang Sun closed his eyes in pain. If it weren't for Ouyang Yu, he wouldn't have treated Yin Shutian as a demoness and burned him to death. He would not have missed the chance to strike up a conversation with two true gods. Yes, the last sentence was Ouyang Sun's real thought. The emperor was heartless. How could he really care about his daughter? He only cared about himself. Shutian. Ouyang Sun looked at Yin Shutian again, and his tone softened. Back then, it was father's fault for wronging you. Now that you're back, father will treat you well. Yin Shutian smiled disdainfully. I remember that you wanted to burn me to death back then. If it wasn't for mother who saved me, I would have died a long time ago. Moreover, the people of the heavenly imperial city have been spreading rumors that Ouyang Yu is a goddess and that I'm a demoness who came to harm the goddess. I'm afraid that these rumors are all thanks to your imperial palace. Ouyang Sun's face became paler and paler. He clenched his fists tightly and felt remorseful. Goddess? Demoness? Yin Luofeng smiled faintly. Rumors stop with the wise. It seems that the people of Heavenly Imperial City are so stupid that there's no need for them to exist. However, there is one thing that is correct. There is indeed a goddess in the Heavenly Emperor City. It is just that the goddess is Chu Tian. She slowly walked towards Ouyang Sun. If you had treated Yin Chutian extremely well during those 5 years, the heavenly sovereign city would have risen in the future. It was you who sacrificed this opportunity. Ouyang Sun raised his head and looked at Yin Luofeng's calm expression. His eyes were filled with regret. Do you know why I took Chu Tian away? Yin Luofeng's lips curled up in a devilish smile. Because Chu Tian's previous life was my daughter. She died protecting me. I waited for her for 5 years before I found her in Imperial Emperor City. I never imagined that you would treat my daughter like this. Ouyang Sun closed his eyes. He regretted it. If he had known that Yin Chutian and Yin Luofeng had such a relationship, he would never have made such a mistake. Unfortunately, there were no ifs, Yinfeng. Yin Luofeng turned to Yin Yinfeng. Chu Tian will be your wife. From now on, you will protect her. Don't let anyone who harmed her in the past go. Even if you burn down the entire Sky Emperor's city, you must make those foolish people pay the price. She couldn't believe it. If she had been one step late back then, would she have been separated from Yin Chutian again? So, how could she forgive those who had hurt her? Even if it was just those people who were making a fuss, she would not let any of them off. For example, she had dyed the imperial city with blood just to stop those people from humiliating her mother. By Yin, since the rumors couldn't be stopped with gentle means, she didn't mind being cruel. Chapter 2261. Don't worry, mother. I won't let the people who hurt Chu Tian live. Murderous intent flashed in Yin Yinfeng's eyes. 10 years ago, Chu Tian was only a 5-year-old child. Could you imagine the despair this 5-year-old child felt when she was tied to a pillar and about to be burned at the stake? However, those people didn't even bother to verify it and just humiliated her so much. He would never forgive the people who hurt her. Hearing this, Ouyang Sun's body went limp and he collapsed to the ground. His eyes were filled with despair. He knew that everything was over. You are Yin Yinfeng's mother? Wang Haoyin looked at Yin Luofeng blankly. His gaze was complicated, regretful, and angry. Of course, the anger was directed at Wang Shuoyan. Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows and looked at Wang Haoyin. Who are you, mother? Hearing Yin Luofeng's question, Yin Yinfeng stood up and said, this guy wanted to give Chu Tian medicine, but we saw through him. In the end, we threw Chu Tian here to fulfill his wish. Medicine? Yin Luofeng narrowed his eyes, his murderous intent shooting out. Wang Haoyin was very regretful. I was wrong. I'm willing to admit what you want to do to me. It's just that I did it for Miss Chutian's sake. Now that I see how much you love her, I'm relieved. Wang Hao Tian's lips curled into a bitter smile. His eyes swept towards Wang Xiulian. At first, she was the one who told me that you killed the parents of a friend she knew. Furthermore, you stole her friend's family's property. But now that I know your identity, I understand that you disdained stealing other people's property. The funny thing was that he was actually glad that Wang Xiulian had made such a big mistake. Yin Luofeng's gaze slowly turned towards Wang Xiulian, who was hiding behind the crowd. A cold light flashed across his eyes. What's her name? Wang Haotian replied. Wang Xiulian. Wang Xiulian? Yin Luofeng sneered. I think it's Yin Xiulian. Wang Xiulian panicked even more when she heard this. How could she recognize her? Yin Xiulian? Everyone was stunned and turned to look at the flustered Wang Xiulian. Yin Xiulian? Yin Tianqi and Li Tsue's daughter? Yin Shutian immediately jumped up and said angrily, I didn't expect you to come to this continent from China. How dare you slander my mother? When did my mother seize your family's property? My mother's parents in Wuxia were killed by that pair of bitches. They robbed my mother of her belongings and kicked her out of the house. Now you're making false accusations. The others didn't understand Yin Chutian's words, but they understood one thing. Yin Xiulian was not Wang Xiulian. Wang Haotian looked at Yin Xiulian in surprise. His eyes were filled with shock. I should have guessed it. My sister was such an obedient girl. How could she have changed so much? The funny thing is that I never suspected that you weren't my sister, so that's how it is. Everything makes sense now. She just didn't know if her father would be able to take it after knowing about this. That's not right. Wang Xiulian shook her head desperately. Her face was pale. The situation shouldn't be like this. I'm a transmigrator. In some stories, the transmigrator should be the main character. Since I'm a main character, I should be glamorous. Besides, in most stories, the betrothal is just a stepping stone. Why was it different when it came to her? If you hadn't been stupid and stayed in China, you might have been able to keep your life. Since you're courting death, don't blame me. Chapter 2262. Yin Yinfeng sneered, and his lips curled up. Mother, Chu Tian is tired. Take Chu Tian to rest. I'll take care of things here. I don't want Chu Tian's hands to be dirty. Chu Tian was such a beautiful and cute girl. How could he bear to let her hands be stained with blood? These things should be done by him as a man. Okay. Yin Luofeng's lips curled up. It seemed that their relationship developed very quickly during this trip to Sky Emperor City. Chu Tian, let's go first. Yinfeng will come back later. Okay. Yin Chu Tian turned to look at Yin Yinfeng. Brother Yinfeng, I'll wait for you at the inn. There was no need for her to stay in this palace anymore. That night, many people in Sky Emperor City were awakened from their dreams, especially when they heard the heart-wrenching screams coming from not far away. Their hearts were filled with fear. No one knew what had happened. The next day, they found out about the massacre that happened in Sky Emperor City last night. None of those who had hurt Yin Chutian were left alive. Wang Xiulian also died miserably. In order to reunite Wang Xiulian's family, Wang Yinfeng sent her soul directly back to the underworld of Wuxia. When she saw Li Tsue and her husband suffering in the 18 levels of hell, she cried and wanted to leave. However, it wasn't so easy to leave after coming to the underworld. Because of this, Wang Xiulian hated Li Tsue. If it wasn't for Li Tsue's words, perhaps she wouldn't have made such a big mistake. It was so good to be the daughter of the prime minister. Why did she have to court death by provoking Yin Yinfeng and Yin Chutian? However, no matter how much she regretted it, it was too late. The 7 continents. A storyteller was narrating what happened not long ago in a tea house. The people around him were listening with relish. It said that the 7th princess of Sky Emperor Kingdom was really talented. At the age of 5, she was able to learn medicine without a teacher. Unfortunately, she was harmed by a scoundrel. Not only did the 2nd princess steal her credit, but she was also framed for poisoning the 2nd princess. This caused the 7th princess to almost be burned to death. Oh, then how did she survive? Someone asked. The storyteller smiled. It's a long story. Just as the seventh princess was about to be burned at the stake, a godlike woman rode a divine dragon and rescued the seventh princess from the execution ground. That godlike woman was the ruler of our continent, Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng? Why did Yin Luofeng save her? I heard that Yin Luofeng's standards are very high, and there are very few people who can catch her eye. Haha, you don't know about this. The seventh princess is Yin Luofeng's daughter from his previous life. Yin Luofeng searched for her for a few years before finding her reincarnated in Sky Emperor City. Otherwise, why do you think he would save a girl he doesn't even know? The storyteller waved his fan. His eyes were filled with longing. I also heard that the seventh princess, who has changed her name to Yin Chutian, is childhood friends with Yin Luofeng's son. They are in love with each other and will soon get married. What a wonderful story, the crowd praised. Only Yin Luofeng's godlike son was worthy of a peerless beauty like the seventh princess. Yin Luofeng's son, young Master Yinfeng, is deeply in love with Yin Chutian. When they went to Sky Emperor City, the daughter of the prime minister wanted to throw herself into his arms, but she was humiliated by young Master Yinfeng. In his eyes and heart, there is only Yin Chutian. Isn't there a saying that those who are doted on are always fearless? This saying can't be more appropriate to describe Yin Chutian. The storyteller shook his head. The people around him also praised, but they didn't notice that the two people they were talking about were sitting below and listening with great interest. Hey! Yin Chutian knocked on a melon seed and turned to look at Yin Yinfeng. Brother Yinfeng, they said that only you are worthy of me. Yin Yinfeng curled his lips. Isn't that so? But I want to escape from the wedding in a few days. Yin Chutian gathered his courage and said. Yin Yinfeng's face darkened. What did you say? Brother Yinfeng, isn't there a kind of wedding in Wuxia called a wedding on a trip? I don't want to hold a wedding banquet. Let's have a wedding on a trip too. Ever since she went to Wuxia, Yin Chutian learned a lot. Although she rarely went to Wuxia now, she would occasionally miss the delicious food there, and she would beg Yin Luofeng to bring her there. As for the wedding on a trip, she only learned about it then. Okay. Seeing that Yin Chutian didn't want to marry him, Yin Yinfeng's expression improved. I'll listen to you. We'll do whatever you want. Brother Yinfeng, you're so good to me. Yin Chutian leaned on Yin Yinfeng's shoulder and smiled excitedly. The storyteller just said that those who are doted on are always fearless. No matter how willful and spoiled you are, it doesn't matter too much. Anyway, I'll dote on you, and I'm willing to clean up your mess. As long as you're by my side forever, that's enough. He didn't ask for much. Her company was enough. Really? Yin Chutian's eyes were very bright. Then let's go and write a divorce letter to father and mother right now and tell them that we won't be holding a wedding. Let's go and fulfill our marriage obligations. Sure. Yin Yinfeng's smile was warm. In this lifetime, he was willing to let her do as she pleased. As long as he doted on her, it was enough.